A man comes up out of nowhere, Ashlee, with one book and goes, "You need this." I'm like,
what? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flavors and Frights, where we explore culture through food and fear. My name is Ashlee Hippolyte, and I have always been interested in everything supernatural, and I was always the little girl in the middle of the family party that was asking every family member what their ghost stories were. I got to hear a little bit more about their experience growing up in Trinidad, and it made me feel closer to the culture, closer to them, getting to know them better. So I love these interviews because I get insight into all of these different cultures. And I'm so excited to be talking to you because I think that you have such a wealth of knowledge in this area. Let's just start off with you introducing yourself and introducing like what you do in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, so my name is Baudelaire, and I am a podcast producer. But man, it's like I was talking to one of my friends who is a psychologist, and he calls himself a Black liberation psychologist. And I told him, like, man, sometimes I feel like I'm a Black liberation psychologist too, you know, because those are like my favorite things to make. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like, I love like radical stories. You know what I mean? So I'm always, whether it's the mainstream show I'm working on or like a side project, I'm always working on something that kind of like feeds that part of my spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so we're connected because we went to high school together, but I don't think we actually were able to really get to know one another. But I've been following your journey in terms of the podcast that you created, Soapbox.
Yep, the Soapbox. That podcast got me a job.
Oh,
really? Yeah. So like I was working at what is now under SiriusXM, this company Stitcher, and I made that show during the pandemic because I just had time. Like I just had so much time. I just was, and I'm always listening to interviews. Like at the gym, I'm listening to like Malcolm X speeches. Like, you know what I mean? I'm always, so I made the show, and I made it really for like, you know, my followers on Instagram and shit. Like, it was like a really small audience I really was making the show for. Then the head of content had caught wind of my show and then had hit me up and was basically like, hey, like, your show was really interesting. Like, would you want to do this here? And I said no to him at first because I thought he was playing with me. Like, I'm like, there's no way y'all would really think I do this for fun, you know?
Yeah.
Then I started working on my second season. And I decided then, like, actually, I do want to get paid to do this. Like,
yes.
And I put out the second season, was working on the third season. In the middle of that, got the job. And, like, I have, like, an unreleased third season of The Soapbox, actually.
Okay. And, like, you have, like, good fan edition, and you give some...
Yeah. One day I'm just going to, like, just release the whole season in a day.
Okay,
just gonna, you know. But, yeah, it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and I think you have such an interesting lens into your work because I feel like you challenge what the known history is, and you give a retelling of history from like an anti-colonial lens, which is really refreshing.
Sure.
I also I think what's important about this conversation, so I've had a few interviews before. I started off, obviously, with Trinidad and Trinidadian superstitions, Trinidadian ghost stories, and culture and food. And then I highlighted...
Shout out to Trinidad, by the way. My fiance's Trinidadian.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. And there's a lot of commonality between all of the Caribbean cultures, and obviously commonality with the origin, which is like on the African continent. But I also think that it's really interesting because growing up, I had a lot of connections to Haitian culture because, you know, Massachusetts has the third largest of Haitian immigrants. And so all of my best friends growing up were Haitian, and there was so much richness to that culture. But when I told a few of those friends that I wanted to highlight like Haitian ghost stories and supernatural culture, like everyone was silent, which was a similarity from what you experienced because, you know, they're like, those friends tend to be a little bit more religious in terms of organized religion. So I'm so happy you said yes. All of them went ghost on me. They didn't want to do it. But,
I'm sure they did.
Yeah. But I think it's just interesting because, especially with the way that Haiti is presented in Western media, a lot of people just want to kind of distance themselves when this like idea of Haitian Vodou and like ghosts and that sort of like mythical, that mythical conversation. So before we dig in deep, I just wanted to like also hear about your connection to Haiti and like generally why you feel compelled to talk about like Haitian culture in some of your work.
I mean, I think about Haiti like every single day. Like I haven't been to Haiti since 2018, and I had when I went to Haiti, it was part of like this like nonprofit mission. No, not mission. Mission sounds like religious and stuff. It was like going to Haiti to help. Yeah. But anyway, so
trips here
for sure, yeah. So I go to Haiti, but it was like in this group of like there was like a bunch of nurses that went with me, and they were all white. And the organization that we were working with in Haiti had hired translators to like help them, you know, with people and stuff like that. And I'm there, and, you know, growing up in Boston, I knew, like, man, there's so many Haitian nurses. Like, if Haitian nurses came here, we wouldn't need the translator, and we'd be able to help more people, just the speed of it. So I got back, and I organized a bunch of nurses that I knew, and we were going to go to Haiti. We raised money to pay for everything and everything. And we were going to go to Haiti that following year, I want to say, and it got pushed. COVID happens, right? And then it's, you know, super complicated to try to go. And then once I started trying to nail down a day to go, the president gets assassinated.
God.
And then Haiti, well, I don't want to say Haiti, Port-au-Prince is just, you know, erupts in like, you know, its current dysfunctional state, right? And so I like had this money that I raised sitting in an account. There was an earthquake that happened in southern Haiti right after that, and I just donated the money to the earthquake relief in southern Haiti. I say all that to say that like I always think to how what I'm doing can help Haiti. You know what I mean? Just like the people that I met there. I still have family on my dad's side in Haiti and like distantly on my mom's side. But like I just see myself in Haiti. You know what I mean? Like I don't like, you know, there's certain people who talk about the United States. I was born here, but there's certain people that talk about the United States and they're like, we are bombing. And I'm like, we aren't doing anything.
We are not.
I'm not in that. You know what I mean? I've always just, growing up, I grew up in a, you know, we grew up in the same town. Stoughton is like predominantly white, but my house was so Haitian. It was like I was in Haiti when I was home, though, right? Like,
absolutely.
You know, we were speaking Creole. We were our sensibilities. There was nothing. There was no sort of code switching at my house, right? Like it was like super Haitian, and yeah, you know, like it wasn't until I started having a bunch of like Black American friends that I realized like how different those experiences are. Yeah. But yeah, you know, that Haitian experience I had growing up, just like. I love it. You know what I mean? I just love everything about being Haitian. Yeah.
And yeah, I see a lot of myself in that story because once again, when you leave Stoughton High School and you go back into my Trinidadian household, like it is a strict, you do this, you do that. Like you are not an American child, you are a Trini child. Like this is a Trini household, you follow Trini rules. Yeah. So
we just so happen to be here.
Yeah,
but this house might as well be Trinidad. Like we don't
exactly. And everyone has an intention of one day we're going back, so you better get your stuff in order. But thank you for sharing that. So I think we can kind of dive in a little bit into a little bit of the storytelling. So, do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on what you like. I believe that our ancestors are here with us. You know, maybe not on the physical, but they're here on the spiritual level. Helping us. Like the idea of ghosts as like harmful or like something to be scared of in any way. I guess I don't believe in that. One of my he's like one of my mentors now. He's a voodoo priest, and we were talking about it one day, and he was just like, yeah, you know, some people are scared of ghosts, but like, ask yourself, why would the ghost want to harm you? Right? Like, is there like a guilt or something that you're dealing with? Like, because otherwise, like, okay, you know, if you feel like someone is dead but still has a bone to pick with you,
Yeah.
like what is that? That's probably something that should be resolved. But other than that, no, I think my ancestors, both like my blood ancestors and like my ancestors of like commonality, you know what I mean? People who thought similar to me, I think that they want to help me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That makes sense.
that's why I have pictures of them on this wall behind me. I have like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Patrice Lumumba, like, you know, people that I try to like invoke every day. I got like Maya Angelou and James Baldwin in here too. It's like, that. You know.
Yeah. So going into superstitions, like growing up, are there any superstitions that you had in your family that you still follow, or superstitions that you're like, okay, for example, I do not put my purse on the floor. My mom has always told me your bag that holds your money can never go on the floor, or that means like you won't have abundance. So do you have anything similarly that you grew up with?
Yeah. Don't count money on the bed is like, yeah, like, for example, like my son's first birthday, right? Like, you know, people were, people gave him money and cards and stuff. And me and my fiance are like opening the cards on the bed, and we're like stacking like the different bills. And I'm like, oh, like, shit, we can't actually count this money on the bed. And I moved the money, and then my fiance's like, oh yeah, like, where's that come from? Yeah, my mom always just told me you can't count money on the bed. Like where you rest your head, you can't. I don't know if it's like the sanctity of your bed, like, you know, but that's one. When I was a kid, I used to, sometimes I would have my hands like this, right? Like if I'm just like sitting chilling, and my mom would be like, put your hands down. You have both your mother and your father.
Oh, I have never heard of that.
What? But yeah, and you know what's funny is one of my friends is Cape Verdean, and he was like, in Cape Verdean culture, there's a similar thing for people who like, if you're just sitting here like this, that it's like, woe is me. I don't like my parents aren't here. Like that's the message you're sending. And
that
like,
is so.
I've been like, as a kid, I got yelled at by my mom a few times for doing that, and I'm like, Mom, I'm just like tired. I'm just like, you know, like I just was running or something. You know, I'm just trying to catch my breath, but no, I'm
literally putting my hands on my head so that, you know, they always say you have to be elevated when you're like catching your breath. That's so crazy.
Yeah, no, like my mom would be like very, very serious. The money on that. Yeah, those probably the two.
We have something, I just thought of that as you were sharing your superstition. Like my grandmother always said, you shouldn't like go to bed like this, like how the bodies in the caskets are.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have a bad dream. It's something that's connected that your body shouldn't be in a stance of like what they put dead bodies.
My mom says never take a picture of someone like that. Like let's say you're like at the beach and you're just laying down and you're just like you're chilling kind of straight. Like never take a picture of someone like their eyes closed and they're actually like laying in that.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So that's another one actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you all have anything about like certain times that you should be doing? Like we have to walk in, if we're coming home late at night, I walk in backwards, like if it's after midnight. So like spirits don't follow us inside. I still do that. I did that last night.
Really? Wow. No, not that I know of. I mean, possibly, but no, I never heard nothing like that.
Those are interesting though. Thank you for sharing. So what are, like in Trinidad, we call ghosts Jambi, as I'm sure you maybe know from your partner. And then Jamaicans call ghosts Duppy. Yeah. Is there a term in Haitian Creole of like how to refer to ghosts?
Maybe not ghosts in particular, but the way ghosts would be used, Haitians often reference like lugau. So lugau, yeah. So a lugau is like the simplest way I could put it is like a werewolf, and it's a person that like when you see them, you see the person, right? Like let's say like so the best way I could put this, like my mother-in-law was like braiding my son's hair. My son like hates getting his hair braided. And then the rest of our time at my mother-in-law's house, he like wanted no parts of her because she violated him by braiding his hair, right?
I get this woman away.
Yes, yeah. And so like I'm telling my mom the story. My mom was like, "Oh, she became a lugaou to him." So like where we all see the person, he sees, "Oh, you wronged me." Right? So like that's like basically what a lugaou is. Like you would see the werewolf. You would see the worst of this person. And yeah, that is kind of like the monster figure. When it comes to ghosts, I mean, Haitians in voodoo are really interesting because like voodoo deals very heavily in ancestor reverence. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times Haitians will use like, if someone talks about ghosts or talks about something like that, they'll be like, oh, like, they'll start freaking out. They're like, oh, sase bagay voodoo, which is like, oh no, that's a voodoo thing. And it becomes like, oh, let's not even speak about this anymore. Like, you know what I mean? If we speak about this too long, this person might visit us. You know, like I have an uncle that passed away, and I was asking my mom stories about him just because it comforts me just to hear stories about my uncle. And she was like, no, I can't talk about him because I'll dream about him for days. And I'm like, I can't.
Wow.
You know, like that is kind of so the idea of like ghosts I don't hear as like straightforward in other cultures where it's like, you know, but yeah.
That's really interesting. And I like how you mentioned that like it manifests in different ways, right? Like I think that's kind of similar. People would say, oh, like Jumbi's going to come for you to like kind of scare you. And similarly, I think that's how Duppy is used. So yeah, like I feel like in a culture that's so rich, like Haitian culture, there are probably and there's also like a difference in language. So I'm sure things are expressed differently.
Yeah. There's like, it's the way, there's a lot of things in Creole that there isn't an English translation to, that when I try to explain it, it's like, you know, it's such a simple, it's like oversimplifying something, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think werewolf is like the best like picture for a lugaou. Yeah.
And speaking about that, do you have any folklore, like mythical creatures that are like very that are kind of in Haiti? So in Trinidadian culture, we have duendes. So those are like the spirits of unbaptized children that like try to scare you in the woods or lure like little children in. Do you have like mermaids or any of those kind of mythical creatures that are like?
Haitians and mermaids are like a thing that is like the next chapter I'm going to get into, like in my learning of Haitian voodoo, because my mom is like. My mom is like a Christian extremist. Like she's like, my mom is like so Christian, like it like, you know, when sometimes you meet those like ladies like at the train station or something and they're trying to like give you like a pamphlet about like, you know, you read your Bible or whatever. I'm like not into that at all, but I always take their pamphlet because I'm like, my mom would do this. And I just hope by me doing this, the person just takes my mom's pamphlet. Just take the pamphlet and just keep pushing. You know what I mean? I try to like pay it forward somehow. So mermaids is something that like when you bring it up to Haitians, it's like they almost treat mermaids like a monster, like lugaou, like ghosts. You know what I mean? And it's not something I've like really understood yet. This idea of like shape shifting from being a mermaid to being a person. So I can't speak to that so like confidently yet, but we do have like in Haitian voodoo lore, the main loi, which is like spirit. It's like in Catholic, like the saints. Again, like an oversimplification, but like it's like the saints in Catholicism. Papa Legba is like the first. He's like who you pray to be able to speak to your ancestors or speak to the other loi. He's like the keeper of the gates. You know what I mean? And in a lot of, if you like Google him right now and like pictures of him, or like artistic renderings, he'll have like a skull mask on, and he's like this like super scary figure, and like he's, you know, just in popular culture you'll see references to him as this like monster, but actually he just is the person you acknowledge before you begin your prayer. You get what I mean? So people who don't really know much about voodoo are like, oh my God, Papa Legba is here to like steal our spirits, and no, he's just the keeper of the gates of heaven. Like that's actually it. But yeah, it's strange, you know, like the Haitian Vodou is such a misunderstood spiritual system. I've like devoted the last like few years of my life into figuring out why. But yeah, there's so many like sleight of hands happening where it's like, oh, this is supposed to be something that's so scary. Oh, it actually is like very, you know what I mean? There's like actually a whole nother thing to it. With every book, it's like there's more I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's like
unlocks the door, and then you're like,
and it's like, oh my God, there's all of this. Like when I went to Benin in West Africa, right? Like it's insane how that even happened. Like I read a book about Haitian Vodou, and I was so curious. Like the author of the book had his email in the back of the book. I cold emailed him and was like, hey, can we talk about this? Because I don't have anyone in my life I could talk to about this. He's like, sure. I'm living in Atlanta at the time. He's like, I'm actually doing a talk at Spelman like in a month. I'm like, okay, great. I'll be there. I go to the talk. The talk runs so long, he doesn't have time at the end. And he goes, well, you can come see me in Milwaukee. I book a flight to Milwaukee, like immediately. Yeah. I go to Milwaukee, I hang out with him for a day, and we do this like super long interview that is episode 2 of my show. And I had to leave out so much good stuff. I'll probably do like a bonus episode of like just the raw interview. But he tells me, I'm like, where should I go? And he's like, well, you need to go to Benin. That was the beginning of December. I saw him, maybe like December like 7th or something like that, right? I was in Benin for Christmas.
Wow.
Like I wasn't home. I went to Benin.
Real quickly.
Like, so I go to Benin, and like that also is, of course, a whole episode, and there's just so much to my trip to Benin. But one thing that I learned is that we play so often as, you know, the diaspora, the Caribbean, we play so much in curse, right? And like, oh, you know, this is someone putting a curse on you, someone doing voodoo on you, someone doing obia on you. Yep. The only curse is white supremacy. The rest of it is not. That like we can't, it will not harm us. And the extent to which it has harmed us is our ignorance to those systems. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end, because if you look at, you don't even have to practice, let's say voodoo, for example, right? Like I was trying to reason with my mom one day, and I was telling her like, hey, you know, you don't have to believe in voodoo. People believe in this system, but there is a respect that is deserved. And my mom was like, no, it's devil worship. Like, no, I'm not going to respect devil worshipers. Like, you know, and I'm like, well, Mom, like you don't understand Islam, right? Yep. You think they're wrong. As a Christian, like you think other people are wrong, but there is a respect there though. Yeah. Right? Like you're not like, as a Christian or someone is Jewish, you're not like stoning and, you know.
There's tolerance.
There's tolerance.
For other organized religions.
Exactly. Right. And the most respected religions all come from a similar part of the world. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And everything that is African, or just not white, really, because, you know, there's offshoots all over the world, are made to be demonized. And then when we demonize this system, we demonize ourselves. So if I feel like, you know, I do come from West Africa as far as Senegal to Congo, if I'm not wholly proud of that, there's going to be aspects of it that I'm like, you know, like, I don't like this, the way they see God, right? You know, those people that see God that way, they are demonic. But I'm actually speaking about my own ancestors because they did believe that. So whether or not I want to take that on, right, you have to be respectful to your heritage. You know what I'm saying? Because look at you yourself. Like, imagine you believe in anything you believe in. Now imagine 100 years from now, 200 years from now, you're gone, but you have a sight at your descendants. Yep. And they are saying the thing that you believed is demonic. Mm-hmm. Like, that would break your heart. You know what I mean? If they ignored it, it'd be one thing. But to actively go against it is like, damn, how did we get here? You know what I'm saying? So that is another question that I get into in the show.
Okay, so what was the most paranormal experience that you've had?
I've always felt like my ancestors were present with me in mm-hmm. every situation that I've been in, like my most difficult situations. Like I've in the earthquake in Haiti, I lost my half sister. Right, years later, I had an internship that I was trying to get with Reebok, and I'm in like the interview room, and they had a chair next to me. And it was like one of those like back to back interviews. Like someone would come in, get up and leave. Someone come in, get up and leave. Someone. In between the interviews, I talked to her.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, you know, like, okay, shit, we just did that one. All right. Like, what do you think I should do? And I'm sure when one of the guys came in, I probably like had to like immediately stop talking and be like, oh, hey, you know, but I was like having debriefs in between them. And I was such a long shot to get it. And I ended up getting it. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think that is what makes me kind of uniquely qualified to make my show, is that like, I never felt spooked by anything that comes from me. And by anything that comes from me, anything that comes from my ancestors. So this is like the worst possible answer to your question. I'm so sorry. No. But yeah, I don't know. I've always, when I was a kid, I had this picture of my grandmother on my nightstand, and I used to like, by kid, I mean like high school. I would take the picture and I would talk to it. My grandmother passed when I was in the 8th grade. And one day my mom comes in the room, she sees me talking to the picture, and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just talking to Gun. Gun is like Gran in Creole. This is my mom's mom, by the way. And she's like, she can't do nothing for you. Like, she's a spirit. Like, you need to be talking to Jesus. And closes the door. God. And so like, I put the picture, I don't know, like 10th grade, like I was kind of embarrassed. It was like, you know, I'm like, you walked in, I'm talking to a picture, you know what I mean? So I put the picture in a drawer, and actually the picture is now this one. You can't really see it from all the way over there, but like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of had that comfort. I knew like I'm protected, you know, and I've also been in like the most reckless, I don't want to sound like I'm, you know, a mystic or something, but like I've also been in like the most dangerous situations and like been pretty sure I'd be all right, and I've always made it through. And you know, Christians would tell me like, you know, God is protecting you, or Jesus is protecting me, but I've never felt Jesus's hug. I've never heard his I love you. But the people who I have heard who've passed away, I feel like they have done me those favors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like the most
definitely know what you're saying.
Like so I say all that to say that like my ghost stories would be like that situation in Reebok, you know what I mean? Where I was talking to my sister, like those have been the moments where I felt so locked in with her spirit, where I felt like I could just directly talk to her. When I meditate in the morning, sometimes I feel like my best meditation sessions, I feel like I'm getting somebody like directly speaking to me, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, I've never been scared of it, but as I get older and as I learn more, I'm like, it's like it's like what I'm running on some days, you know, because we need something, like, you know, this world is crazy.
My mom, she has a lot of dreams that can end up being premonitions. And whenever she dreams her father, it's usually him warning something, or the mother is usually like, it's representative of something like that. And I truly do believe, I'm like, if we didn't have so much muddiness around us in terms of, we had a lot more clarity and a lot more opportunity to meditate, like that unlocks a lot of opportunity for us to like channel those members.
And like, I always feel like when I'm on the righteous, because I'm a human. I've made mistakes where it's like blown up in my face. But when I'm on the righteous path, or like, I always feel like I'm being helped. Like everything is made to be effortless. Like, for example, when I told you how I went to Benin like on a dime, I didn't know anybody in Benin. I'd interviewed a woman whose family lived in Benin, and I interviewed her for an episode of Atlas Obscura that I made, and she told me like, oh, because I tell her I'm Haitian, she's from Benin. She's like, oh, like we're family, like, you know what I mean? Like from now on, you have family in Benin. Like if you ever go to Benin, let me know you have family in Benin. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, cause
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure I do.
That is,
yeah, sure I do. So anyway, so I booked the trip to Benin, and the day before I go to Benin, I text her and I'm like, hey, I'm just going to Benin. I just felt like I should tell you because we talked earlier this year and you said to let you know. She was like, oh, okay, great. When does your flight land? I'm like, oh, 2 p.m. But like, I'm gonna get a taxi, like, whatever. She's like, hold on. And this is all via WhatsApp. Messages me later and is like, all right, so my brother and my cousin are gonna be at the airport to pick you up. Where is your Airbnb? I'm like, it's here. She's like, cool. They're gonna bring you there. They're gonna help you get set up. Boom. I get to Benin. They help me get set up. The French in Benin is like really hard to navigate. Like it's not. I've been to Senegal. Their French was a little bit easier. In Benin, it was really difficult. So her brother helps me with my Airbnb guide. I end up booking a tour to see all the places that I want to see, like one tour that's going to bring me everywhere. I would come back from the tour at night. This woman's brother, his name is Abdul. Abdul would work a 9 to 5. He worked for the United Nations. He would come by my Airbnb every night and bring me to dinner, bring me back home, then go home to his family. And I would be like, bro, like you got 2 kids, like just go home to your kids. He's like, no, you are my family. And not in like a corny way. He was like, no, I feel I have to do that. Like why? Like he was almost weirded out by me being so like, he's like, bro, you need the help. And I'm here to help you, and we're gonna figure this out. And like beyond just him, every time I needed anything in Benin, it was almost like it just appeared. I went to this place called the Sacred Forest, and there were so many questions that I had. And I walked out of the Sacred Forest, and a dude comes up to me. Mind you, we're in a majorly French-speaking country. A man comes up out of nowhere, Ashlee, with one book and goes, "You need this." I'm like,
what?
Oh, okay. He goes, but you have to pay me for it. Give me, it's like $5 in Benin. Mind you, Ashlee, that was like, I don't know, not even $1. It was like 50 cents. But he was like, just give me something for it. I was like, sure, whatever. The book is in English, and the book was about slavery's journey from Benin. Now, mind you, I don't know this man. This man does not know I'm working on a project about voodoo. Like, he doesn't know. And he doesn't know that I just kind of got overwhelmed with information that I kind of need broken down in a way. He hands me the book. The man is not selling books. He doesn't have a bunch of books.
He has this one book on this one subject.
Hands it to me and keeps it moving. Like, that is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like, that to me is my closest relationship to the supernatural. Those moments where, because we get in the car, me and my tour guide, and I'm like stuck on for like 20 minutes. Like, yo, what the fuck just happened? I got this book. I'm flipping through the book and I'm like, this is a good book. Like it just worked out so well. When I went to New Orleans, I reached out to this voodoo priest in New Orleans and I'm like, hey, when I get to New Orleans, I want to interview you. He was like, cool. It's going to be $100. I'm like, cool. I'll pay you the $100 because I knew it was going to be a great interview. We have an incredible interview. And at the end of it, I go to give him the $100. And he was like, oh, no. Like, I ask people for the money over email to make sure they're serious. He's like, this is your birthright. He's like, you needed this, right? Like, he's like, you were searching for this. And I learned it to give it to you. So I can't take $100 for something that was already my purpose. Like, I've already done the thing. Now your thing is to share this. And I'm
like giving me goosebumps.
Yeah, but those are the moments where I'm like, oh my God. Like, so anyway, I have days where like on my worst days, I'm like, man, this project, like Haitian Vodou, this is too big for me to take on, like, who am I kind of thing. Then some days I'm like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever, and I am I am the chosen one to do this. Usually I'm trying to find a balance between those two things. But yeah, it just, I've had, and I could tell you like 5 more of those situations that have happened.
I have also felt very called to this project because I feel like I have a network from all of these different countries, like friends from all of these different countries, and a point of like just demystifying this world and like not having it be demonized is really important to me. And I feel like it's because of that ancestral connection, that connection to our traditions before colonization. Okay, so what is we're moving into flavors, because I always like to ask, whenever we were like telling scary stories around the table at home, like we would always be like snacking on different Trinidadian things. So what Haitian dish is the most comforting for you?
Man.
Hardest
I would
question.
say, oh man, I would say Diak Jonjon, which is like it's like black rice. It's the short way people identify it. It is the greatest thing like ever. It's like the only thing that I've never had not be good, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? Some things you go to restaurants and you're like, I only like my mom's ex, right? You know what I mean? But like Jonjon rice, like black rice it's the best thing like ever. It also pate, which is like these like pastries. Sometimes there's like saltfish in them. There's also beef and chicken ones. I never really have those ones, but the saltfish ones are my favorite. Yeah, I'd say that's like the street food thing, and then the black rice is probably like if I'm like sitting down in the house. I also want to say though, before speaking of Trinidadian street food, when I first had a double, it like so. All right, growing up in Stoughton, right? Like my best friend since I'm a little kid is I don't know if you know VJ. So
yes.
Okay, cool. So so they're Trini as well, and like I've been to their house and I've had bus up.
Oh, how didn't I know that? I didn't.
Okay. So I've always had like bus up and like curry shrimp at their house, and like great. I'm thinking in my mind like this is the extent of Trinidadian food, and it's great. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, y'all just eat a lot of bus up and curry shrimp and curry goat and whatever. And then I started dating my fiance, and we lived in New York at the time. And she would take me to, places in New York. She'd be like, oh yeah, like let's just grab a few doubles. And like, let's put, tamarind or whatever on there. And it is the greatest street food in the world. Like, I don't think there is anything anywhere. A good double.
Have you been to Trinidad yet?
Yeah, twice.
Okay. And you had it.
Yeah, for sure. Though, I got a story for you. When I first went to Trinidad, right, I'm telling them on the plane, I'm telling my fiance and her sister, like, yo, when we get there, I'm first person to tell me they sell doubles, I'm buying 5 doubles. Like, whatever. Yep. They're like, yeah, at the airport, they sell doubles. I'm like, word, at the airport? We get off the plane. They're like worrying about bags and stuff. I go up to the dude selling doubles and I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm going to get some doubles. So I have trouble hearing out of my left ear. Like I have a hearing aid in my left ear. So that's one thing. Also, the Trini accent I'm hearing in New York and in Boston versus like in I'm just trying to get my order to do. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about, and he says like, "Oh, pepper," and I'm like, "Yeah." So we get in the car.
Like I know where this is headed.
We get in the car.
Scared for
you. My mother-in-law is driving, and I'm like mad amped to have the doubles. I'm like, they're like a double's laid out in front of me. I take a bite, and mind you, we're in Trinidad. It's so hot. Like it's like
so hot. Yeah.
It's a different kind. It's it's Haiti hot. I mean, obviously, it's like it's so hot. Yeah. So I'm already sweating. And I take a bite of this double. And we drove, so my fiance's family's from San Fernando. So we're driving to San Fernando. And my head is like out the window. And I'm like I'm like, I'm crying. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm in such pain. And my mother-in-law was like, Baudelaire, you all right? And I'm like, no, I'm not all right. Like, I need something. I think we stopped at like a gas station and I had like a liter water, like the coldest water I could have straight, like downed it. But, I had not known, because when we were in New York, my fiance would order for me.
Rookie mistake. Rookie.
She would order food for me, so I would be like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like I didn't know the power slight had.
Yeah.
I had
Slight,
no clue.
Keyword that you were
Because
missing.
if you don't say slight, they think you want actually.
Yeah.
Like a
and no one
tablespoon.
wants that. Like I
No.
definitely don't want that. I don't even think a lot of Trinis want that. So.
Which is why I don't get why the slight should be the norm. But that's my biggest critique to Trinidadian culture.
But we win. But
Slight
what
should
you're
be the
saying
norm.
is we win best street food.
A double is the greatest street food. No, Haiti don't got nothing for doubles.
The most interesting thing that you've learned about this project, like this Haitian Vodou project, that you didn't know before,
is how communal, how voodoo is in our everyday already as a people. Like we already, name things. We already say our ancestors' names pretty naturally, and we don't know that is something that comes from West Africa in a lot of ways, the same pot as voodoo did. Talking to plants. Like a lot of things are like actually very tinged with voodoo that if you told somebody, they'd be like, no, it's not. Like, and it is. It's just your idea of voodoo that makes you not want to accept it, but it's like, it's okay. In Benin, the voodoo ceremony, I've been to 2 voodoo ceremonies. The one I went to in Benin was like, it was the greatest vibe I've ever, it was like the best thing to paint you a picture of what it looked like. It was like a block party. Think of like a really fun block party. It was like a block party. You think of a voodoo ceremony, right? The way if I told you like, yo, this movie has a voodoo ceremony in it, you're like, oh shit, are they going to kill a chicken? Are they going to? So here's the thing. So I'm in Benin and it's like, everyone had roles. Like the women were in charge of the music. So on one side of the yard, women are drumming and they're like amazing fucking drummers. Like the men are kind of like controlling the ceremony that's happening in front of us, right? It's like a stage. And then the kids are just like dancing and having the most fun. The whole thing was really for the kids. Like the kids are having a blast. And like the whole community came out. We're like outside of Cotonou, which is like Benin's New York. We're probably like an hour or 2 outside. So we're in like this, like really, we're in the boondocks. But everyone, even when we left and we were driving through the neighborhood, the rest of the neighborhood looked deserted because everyone was at the ceremony, just like watching all this like music and dancing happen. And it was so like, it was such a release. Like you could tell like, oh, this is like one big family because y'all do this regularly. You know what I mean? And in a lot of neighborhoods throughout the United States, you don't really have those kind of community events as much anymore, right? Like, but that is the purpose that the ceremony, at least that day, served. And when I was told first, like, yeah, we're going to go see a ceremony, on the way there, I'm like, what the hell am I about to go see?
Yeah.
And so that was like insane. And then also I saw a ceremony in New Orleans too, which was similar. And it's just like, a lot of the people in New Orleans that I told, like, yeah, I was in Benin, like, less than a year ago. And the ceremony was very similar. No one in that New Orleans ceremony had ever been to Benin.
Wow.
I was talking to my mom one time. She was telling me a story when she was a little girl. I think it's in the pilot, where she tells me a story when she was a little girl. And she was like, yeah, when I was a little girl, the dancing was interesting to me. I used to like how they danced. She starts dancing in front of me. Like she's like almost like mockingly dancing.
Oh, interesting.
Right. But she's dancing, like she's laughing, like we're having a good time. And it was the exact same dancing as in Benin. If you picked her up and dropped her in the Benin ceremony, she would not have stuck out. If her clothes were more like their clothes. That's the only thing. But like in her dancing, it would have looked completely normal the way she was dancing. My mom also has never been to Benin, obviously. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just the way these things have existed through 400 years.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. This is fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been really dope.